Welcome! Your favorite AI duo is back for another episode of Companial SofTalk, a podcast where we share all the news about the Dynamics 365 industry. My name is Tine Staric. I'm an MVP for Business Central and an architect with Companial. And with me today I have Eimantas.
Yes, my name is Eimantas Tatarunas. I lead all the initiatives around AI at Companial. And I also try to help our partners.
Great to have you back. Last time we were talking a lot about Copilot. And I think like a year and a half ago, everybody was struggling to understand what even is AI, how do we work with AI. And now I think we understand that, but there's a new buzzword around, which is agents. Everybody's just saying agents, agents, agents. So let me ask you, what even is an agent now? Why do we care about agents?
I think that, definition of agent can be a very simple one, just saying that agents are sophisticated applications that has a very predefined goal to act upon and we can plan and conduct necessary steps or conduct necessary tasks to achieve that goal. And also to achieve that goal, agents can use tools or functions and also be aware of environment of like data and systems we work on. So it's very sophisticated applications and that are similar to automation, but now intelligent one.
Okay, but tools and sophisticated automation, those are a lot of words that we touched last time when we were talking about copilots. So could you maybe explain this idea of an agent compared to a copilot?
Comparing agent to copilot or any large language model or generative AI is that usually generative AI has one type of input, so it's text or let's say a picture, and generated or provided only one of output. So it was a text or code of depending on that input. So it is like one of conversation with these generative AI models. On the other hand, agents, they are able to conduct several tasks in a row, in the sequence, and also they have a capability to plan what tasks are needed to be conducted. So it's much more related to the automation and workflows than comparing to the, let's say, a separate or standalone generative AI models.
So multiple steps and workflows. To me, that actually sounds more like, Power Automate with a couple of blocks, some of them maybe being AI related. I've heard the term sparkling automation being thrown around instead of agents. So how do then agents compare to this sparkling automation?
Yes, it indeed can be sparkling because of the magic that AI can do for any of your workflows. But in more serious note, I would say that the key differentiator that automation had very predefined rules, functions, and also they need to be very precisely pre-programmed to conduct in a high accuracy any of the steps, and they fail to strive or conduct the tasks needed if anything changes in their environment. The context, the inputs, the outputs are needed differently, or anything that it's around this automation, they fail to do that. So now what agents brings, basically this capability to really strive in ambiguous situations, to understand the context and the content of the inputs, also adapt to the different outputs needed, and also be aware of, let's say, of different steps needed by changing situations. So it's more adaptive, and it's really can work in ambiguous situations. So I would say then, from the technical point of view, you don't need anymore to define everything precisely. You don't need to write down the strict rules. You don't need to program each and every, let's say, option that agents should be aware of. But agents should be capable themselves to really understand what is the best output should be generated based on the context we are working on.
It's not like Copilot, it's not like Power Automate. Could you maybe explain these differences on an example, like an example of an agent?
The best example at the moment is the very first agent within BC. So Microsoft introduced sales ordered agent, which basically takes the whole process of sales orders processing, so from customer intent and the request to the purchase order generation, and also sending that to that particular customer. So this agent can now automate the whole process, all steps needed. So as mentioned, starting from the customer intent recognition, understanding, converting that intent into the, let's say, checkup and lookup for the necessary items in your inventory, analyzing the availability of these particular items, also putting that availability, the necessary items, the user intent conversation into the purchase order, processing that or creating that order, and then sending that to the customer. And all of these steps are being done by that particular agent, and it's not pre-programmed, each and every step. It's really based on loads of data and also the capabilities of generative AI to conduct these steps.
I've seen the sales agent, and it does look cool, right?
Yes.
I think it's a lot of potential use cases for it. But where I struggle with agents is that as a developer, I don't really know what the agent is doing. I don't know how I can debug an agent. What if an agent hallucinates? How can I know what the agent has been doing? So to me, it raises a lot of concerns when I look at an agent. Can I even use that in an enterprise scenario? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I think that Microsoft was and still is, of course, totally aware of these challenges that may arise when you start using or even configuring the agents. So at least what we already saw, that each and every step taken by the agent to pre-process this and process the purchase order should be confirmed by or reviewed and then confirmed by the human. So basically, human is aware of what is happening under the hood, maybe not in the every detail, but in terms of the workflow, in terms of the actions taken, humans will be able to review and confirm. These are the prerequisites and mandatory when you're configuring the agent, and you also will be able to configure which steps should be conducted in what particular way in terms of the confirmation and reviewing. So I think Microsoft really put some efforts in that and some thinking that to make this first agent really ready for the business environment. The inputs and errors are really not appreciated and should not be allowed in any circumstances.
I don't really have to be aware of every single step that an agent does, but for every important step, there is the human in the loop factor, and it's up to me to confirm if it can move forward. Cool. But then the final question I have is, Microsoft is building the sales agent.
Yeah.
They said they're now building the payables agent.
Yeah.
But as a partner, I cannot really build an agent in Business Central. So why should I care about agents if I cannot do anything with them?
Yes, indeed. As a partner right now, you cannot build this agent. And yes, indeed, once again, I would say that these agents are really features for the customers and for the end users, right? So because they are intended to automate complex workflows in a business environments, sales order agent, right, and sales order processing workflow. But what is important for a partner, I would say that this is a great feature to really show for your new customers or to-be customers that these kind of intelligent automations or AI agents are already available in BC, embedded within the BC. You don't need to use any other tools, right? So it's really cutting-edge technology that is ready now in BC. So it could be a selling point, and I truly believe that it's super great selling point is definitely this cutting new technology for the enterprise systems and then ERPs. And additionally, I would say you can also use sales order agent and upcoming agents to show for your existing customers that these technologies are only available on the newest versions, on the SaaS versions of BC. So we have additional reason, and at the moment the big one, to move to the cloud.
If we just kind of wrap up, agents are not like copilots, agents are not like sparkling automation, but agents are kind of the future of where we're going with Business Central. We see with the sales agent, we see with the payables agent.
Yeah.
And even though there are certain concerns with agents, I feel like the way, or at least the way I hear from you, the way Microsoft has implemented them, there is still a big importance placed on the human in the loop.
Yes.
Even though we cannot build the agents ourselves just yet, it is a great tool to convince customers to either move to the cloud or to bring new customers into the world of Business Central.
Yes, exactly. Even it's not intended for the partners and not as a tool for partners, but definitely this is a good arguments and cutting technology within Business Central to go to customers and basically pitch them to come to BC and move to the cloud.
Yeah, so that's all from our side. Thank you for listening in, and we'll see you at the next episode of Companial SofTalk.